This is Corolla Digital.
Hey guys, it's Skip.
And Allison Bedell.
We're really happy to be part of Corolla Digital and to bring you our first podcast. The first bunch of episodes were recorded earlier in the year as we thought we'd be launching them back then. So you may hear some things talked about that seem untimely with what's going on right now.
Also, in the first dozen episodes, we recorded some segments where we talk about other things that we thought fans would love to hear, but it made the podcast way too long.
So you may notice that on occasion, something seems like it's missing, and that's because we cut some of it out of the podcast.
But in the meanwhile, we'll be taking listener questions from Facebook and Twitter and add things as we figure out what works and what you want to hear.
Until then, sit back and enjoy
Hammer and Nails.
Welcome to Hammer and Nails with Skip and Allison Bedell.
Hey guys,
Hey!
we are here.
So excited. It's our first podcast.
Yeah, it's the podcast. We're doing it.
Yeah, this is really exciting for us. We have been waiting a really long time to get this thing started.
Yeah, guys, thanks for listening, man. We've been working on this thing for a while, and we're finally doing it.
Yeah, we have been working on it for a while. I think we started it probably about 6 months ago.
Well, yeah, because we were actually recording a few months ago thinking that we were going to launch this thing back then, right? And it just takes so long to get things to actually happen. There's so much that goes on with production and you know, all the other side of it. So we're happy to be here and getting this thing done.
Yeah,
man.
we're so psyched. We had so many great fans on social media and Facebook, Twitter, everybody that said that they were going to take a listen. So we wanted to acknowledge all of those people and say thank you for checking it out right now because we're really excited about it.
Yeah, thanks for listening, guys. And let's not forget Mr. Joseph Cumian back there on the knobs, mixing on the board, making us sound good.
I'm on the knobs.
You're on the knobs.
Don't tell Carol.
What exactly does that mean, you're on the knobs?
She seemed a little bit suspicious.
Sounds a little
when
bit
you said
sexual,
that.
right?
Tweaking those knobs.
Oh, tweak it.
So we got Joe over engineering, producing our podcast while we're here at home in New York. And we are also going to be having some podcasts that Skip and I record when we're in California.
Yeah, so bouncing back and forth. Of course, you guys know us from the show Catch A Contractor. So when we're on the road filming the show, we'll be doing like a mobile version of this thing that will be outside the studio, and we'll kind of be doing that thing on the road.
Yeah, it'll have like a different feel to it because when we're here with Joe, he's got all of the sound bites and he's got the third person in our conversation, and he makes us sound good.
They got the knobs.
He's got knobs.
Let's not forget the knobs.
Skip's got his own knobs too.
Oh, come on, man.
But yeah, so when we're out on the road, we
Joe's the third wheel.
we call it On the Road,
It's a three-way.
and you'll see it in the title of the podcast. It's going to say OTR on the podcasts that are filmed or recorded, I should say, when we're out on the road. So with that being said, we should probably also tell everybody about the podcast that we have already recorded.
Yeah, so we've been recording for a while, as we mentioned, for a couple months now, and putting a bunch in the can, getting ready to launch this thing.
We thought it was going to be launched months ago.
Yeah, so it's exciting to be able to do that. And so some of the podcasts that you're going to be hearing in the earlier part while you're listening will be kind of pre-recorded, and you'll hear some different times of the seasons.
We'll be
and
talking
things like
about
that.
snow when right now it's
you might hear about some snow.
It's not snowing out right now, but so it's about the first dozen. So we're going to put those out after this initial pod. Just we wanted to be able to explain to y'all why we're talking about snow or some things that were not timely, and it's because we had already recorded those. We had also even recorded this podcast originally. But we're re-recording it because we wanted to explain to everybody why the other pods that we already recorded sound the way they do in certain sections of it.
Right.
Because there's a lot of...
we got a lot of other great stuff to talk about.
Yeah. And we're going to be, eventually, well, right now, if you wanted to ask us questions either about personal stuff or show stuff, of course we are open to answering those questions.
How personal were you getting?
We're not going to, well, we can get pretty personal. We can get as personal as we want. I don't have a problem getting personal. I mean, I'm not going to give, like,
intimate. Are we talking about, like, taping out the tape measure, or, like, how personal are we
not
going?
that personal. No. I mean, if you want, by all means, feel free to, reveal whatever, you feel is important, or lack thereof, Just kidding. But,
Joe's over there.
Are we talking metric?
Really good. Are we talking centimeters?
Are we talking here?
Yeah. But no, we're definitely, please go on Twitter, go on Facebook. I am on Twitter and Facebook, as is Skip. I'm at Allison Bedell, and he is at Skip_Bedell on Twitter. And you can just look us both up on Facebook. We're both there.
Yeah, give us your questions, guys. We're happy to entertain all those and give you plenty of answers.
We have actually a Hammer and Nails Twitter page as well, and we have a Hammer and Nails Facebook fan page. So we would love if people went on there, clicked like, and started asking us some questions and things for us to discuss. We'd be really happy to do that. So we want people to ask what they want to know. What we're going to talk about every time when we do a podcast, we're going to talk about, the first and foremost, what's going on with us right now. Like, we're going to talk about what we've been up to, what we're doing, because our life since we've been on the show has been really exciting and crazy and busy and hectic. It's been a whole lot of things. We've had so many cool experiences that we feel it would be like such a waste not to share it with everybody.
You know, every time you guys tweet or Facebook anything about any of the Spike events that you get to go to, like some of the matches, some of the
Bellator fights
stuff, forget about it, man.
Yeah, we have a really good time at those things.
Oh, no
so
shit.
much to tell.
Yeah. No shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a huge fan.
Yeah.
And to be sitting in New York, well, I know you guys are like in Vegas, kicking it with,
Yeah, well, let's talk about the one that we just went to, man. Kimbo Slice and Ken Shamrock. What?
Yeah, that was awesome.
My God. If you guys saw that fight, I mean, we were there, front row, and it was insane.
Yeah, somebody just interviewed us on another podcast, and they said, what's the difference? But like, what's the difference between like what we're seeing on TV and like you being there? What is it that you're seeing? And we're we're up front and personal with the fighters, and we're feeling the heat from the ring.
It's like you could feel the body shots, Joe.
Yeah.
It's like because we're so close, you could feel like the concussion in the air, like that impact.
I've been
God,
because of the connection that I have with Opie and Anthony, and then
we should also introduce you your Anthony's older brother.
Right.
So that's
Anthony Acumini from Opie and Anthony.
From Opie and Anthony show.
Right.
But we ended up getting a whole bunch of tickets. I mean, we used to go see UFC all the time.
Yeah,
and that was something that we did all the time.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
And I know what it's like to be up front and have sweat splash across your face.
Yeah,
I know that from being in bed with Skip.
It's a great feeling. That's not the only thing that splashes across your face, honey. All right?
Wow.
Listen, we're just going to be totally honest here. We're trying to set the tone for you people.
Mom.
Right?
Hey, Allison, is that a map of Hawaii on your cheek?
Oh, God, that's a horrible way to introduce people to us.
Yeah.
Okay,
well, welcome to the show, everybody.
What was I going to say?
Well, speaking of UFC, man, so like we go to all the Bellator fights now, and recently signed from the UFC into Bellator the one and only Mr. Tito Ortiz.
Yeah.
And we've been having a great time, like going to all these events and hanging out with Tito and his awesome girlfriend Amber, and we just have a lot of fun with them. I mean, we've been to plenty of Bellator fights and out like socially, and
we talk about we had some good laughs in here on some of the other pods that we've already recorded, talking about meeting them and our night out with them when we first met them. So that is definitely a must listen to.
How awesome is that?
You guys can look forward to that.
That you are like you're trained in MMA.
Yeah,
and to be able to I mean you've competed as well.
Yeah,
not to the level that they compete. So it's I can actually understand and see the similarities between I'm a guitar player, but I've never been at the level of U2, like playing a U2 show. But to be able to hang out with a guy like The Edge would be awesome for me.
Right.
That would be amazing.
Yeah,
so to hang out with Tito Ortiz and your girl and his girl had to be surreal for you.
Yeah, it's a really cool thing, man, because to meet them in person, and Tito is just like a regular dude, he's just a regular guy. And one of the coolest things that's happened is that at one of the fights we went to, I think it was in Irvine, a couple months ago, we got to talking, and he's like, "Hey, man, why don't you come down to my training center and we'll roll a little bit, you know.
So it's like the Edge saying, "Come on down to jam with you too."
Yeah. So come up on stage in front of 50,000 people, you know.
Just hang out, play some guitar with us.
So I think we actually talk about this later on, but I'll just give you guys like a highlight of it real quick, you know. So I get down there, and it's like I'm thinking I'm going to walk into his place, and there's going to be a class going on, jiu-jitsu class or whatever, you know. So it's a huge facility. It's like a block, this massive place, and I get there, and we're like the only ones there, man. And this big cage in the middle of this room. And he's like, "Hey, come on in, man. Let's warm up." So, we start stretching. Exactly. So I'm thinking, all right, I'm standing in the cage with 5-time world champ Tito Ortiz right now, and I'm like, all right, what exactly is going on?
And where are the other people?
And where are the witnesses?
Just in case.
Because somebody's about to get really hurt right now, and it's not going to be Tito.
Well, don't give it all away yet. Just leave it for the other, because you did talk about it in the other podcast.
Awesome,
Let's tell everybody what else we're going to talk about.
That's what they call a teaser, Skip.
Yes, that's a good teaser.
We're giving you guys a teaser.
Leave it at that.
So
what else are we going to talk about?
We got a lot of cool stuff coming up for you guys, and we just want to say, really thank you for tuning in, and we're so happy to be part of Corolla Digital. It's just a really cool opportunity.
Yeah.
Let's mention that for a second. We're really very fortunate to be able to be working with Adam Carolla on this show at Catch A Contractor. So it's like,
Great. Indirectly, I'm working with him now too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I'm not jealous anymore.
Yeah. Well, yeah. When he listened to the podcast, like, who's that other fucking guy?
He called me a fucking guy.
So that's good. You're dudes now, right?
Absolutely.
It's all good. But we're going to be, we are really lucky to work with him, and also to become friends with him outside of filming the show, and we've gotten to know his wife and his kids, and
we spend a lot of time,
them.
Of course, on camera. They're long days filming this show.
Skip spends a lot of time on the first dozen pods or so, blowing a whole lot of smoke up Adam's ass. So
no, I don't.
You so do. You do. You are like giving these Adam like like you're tearing every little piece apart. You talk about.
That's my dude, man. It's like we're doing cool stuff together. Listen, this show it's a really cool opportunity, Joe, to do something like, we're using our talents to go out there and help people. And, if you've seen the show, it's a combination of a lot of different elements. But, of course, Adam being a part of it, he's got a great construction knowledge. And that's awesome because the two of us kind of like tag team the bad contractor. But he's just so funny, man, that it's like, it's a serious thing that we're doing. We're kind of like we're
Here
there.
Here comes the smoke up there.
No, it's not smoke. It's true. So my point is, it's hard to keep a straight face around him. So it's been really cool working with him.
And it's a privilege to be working with him. It's a privilege to be doing the podcast right now and be a part of the network. So we're just really, really thankful because we know that it's a really rare opportunity, and we don't want to waste it. We want to make sure that everybody has a really awesome time listening to us.
Yeah, and we've been on Adam's show, the main show, Adam Carolla's show, and Ace on the House I've done a number of times. You've been on Lynette's show, too, a bunch of times, too.
Yeah.
And it's always a good time over there, man, So
we're going to talk about things that are related to construction because we're going to have a segment also, just like what pops into the middle of Season 3 now with Skip's Tips. We're going to have you give some tips with regards to what? Like anything?
Yeah, pretty much anything.
People have questions.
That's something you guys can expect as you listen to future podcasts. I'm going to be doing a segment called Skip's Tips, and basically that'll, we'll be touching on everything from tools to home remodeling tips to, just even how to avoid getting into problems with contractors and how to, avoid the stuff that you see on our show.
Yeah.
Really.
Or if they have questions even, about really anything, remodeling or fixing something or a tool or whatever. Skip's kind of got an all-around knowledge of it all.
I have a couple of tools.
You have a couple of tools. You've got a couple of tools.
I have some left, right? It's like ridiculous.
Yeah.
I spend a lot of time either in the shop or my trailer. That's like my favorite place to be, and I just it's like I'm a tool guy.
Yeah, so you can ask him anything about his tool.
Wait, is that singular or plural?
Oh, tools. I'm sorry, tools.
All right, tools. Yeah.
I'm going to be talking about. I have an obsessive personality.
Really?
I fixate on things. Yes.
No.
Which you may not know about me. Yeah. When
you guys will find out quickly.
Yeah. I mean, like I get fixated on something, whether it be something I want to buy or something I want to cook, or it's anything.
Right.
Skip's tools.
Skip's tool. I want to master it. I am one of those people that all my friends know that I know something about everything, and if I don't know it, I research the shit out of everything. I'm huge on research and researching research even. Like I go on Amazon and I research all the reviews before I decide to buy something, and I like to share that knowledge that I get from anything and everything with everybody else because I think that I am the source for the coolest shit ever. So I like to share what I have discovered with other people.
Filling us in on the cool stuff.
Yes, just come to me for anything cool.
Nice.
Because I got it going on like that.
Yeah, so we'll be talking about what's going on in social media, what's trending, and of course taking your questions. And let's not forget the WTF.
What the fuck? I have an exceptional vocabulary.
In case you were wondering what that WTF stands for.
Which is primarily spearheaded by the word fuck. I love to say the word fuck about every fucking thing. And so my big expression is what the fuck. And Skip and I usually find that we have something that's going on in life that just we're like, what the fuck? And we have,
everybody can relate to that.
I
mean, listen, you go through like a day. It's like, Joe, how many times have you said that in one day? You're like, what is going on here? I mean, it's just you just go through life, and it's
how
like
many times in 1 hour.
And it's not just like a one little scenario. It's like a story. It's always going to be some kind of a story that builds up to like a major. Like
you guys can look forward to a lot of laughs because the what the fuck segments are funny.
Yeah, we've recorded a bunch of them already, and we have a huge load more that we've just been like holding in our back pocket because we don't want to dump our whole load on the first what the fuck.
You don't want to dump that huge first load. It's good to get the first one out of the way, though, right?
Well, is it a dump or is it a load? Let me know.
It's a load dump.
I'm going to take a dump on the load.
You get the first one out of the way, and then the second one lasts longer.
Yeah.
So it's good.
You're an idiot.
You can always put the load on the top.
Oh, goodness.
Okay, that was nice. Yeah, so we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about stuff that's going on, like, in the world sometimes. If there's something big or something, current that's just worthy of getting into a really cool conversation about. We want to talk about anything and everything, but we primarily want to give everybody else what they want to hear about, because we always get social media questions asking us about our life or how we met or what we do. Like, people always have questions. I want to answer them all. I want to talk to everybody about everything.
Oh, you're going to get lots of juicy answers.
Yeah, there's a lot. Juicy. We got a lot of juice, and we want to spill the juice on everybody.
You want to dump the juice.
We want to dump the juice and just share with everybody. So by all means, because anybody who goes online and they follow us, they know that we respond back to everybody. So now we're going to be able to do it in this forum where we get to respond to the questions and the comments, and we are happy to hear them all. Criticisms, constructive criticism, as opposed to just nasty criticism. But we can handle it. If you want to be critical and nasty, though, you will learn that very quickly. I don't give a fuck. And
you could be part of what the fuck.
You could be part of what the fuck.
So so kind of like so that's what's going on, right? That's what we're going to be doing.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we're going to be doing. Yeah, right now the fourth member of our team is not here right now. That would be Kilo, our Chihuahua.
He's usually sitting in on the session.
He's usually sitting in and coughing during our sessions, and he is.
That's like Joe's worst nightmare when he sees you walk into the studio with a dog, and the dog like coughs occasionally because he's old, and it's like he just got this cough.
Joe isn't that old. He is like
no, not Joe. The dog.
He's old and cantankerous. We try to get him in a good mood. But
Kilo Taco Bell.
Yeah, Kilo is actually Skip does the voice of Kilo.
Occasionally, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, which is very amusing. That'll pop in and out once in a while when we have Kilo with us. Kilo's been in episodes of Catch A Contractor. He was in the one. He was in episode 10. You will see me outside with Kilo on the ground, and also in episode 2, you'll see me holding him. So if you're wondering who's Kilo,
he bit that guy, right? Didn't he bite him?
He bit the guy. Yeah.
That was back in season 1. We used to stand at the front door, like on the front lawn, like watering the lawn.
Did his little doggy dentures come out?
No. He back then when he could still see, he had this thing where he would see people and then he would give a couple of sniffs, and it was like either sniff, sniff, bite or sniff, sniff, lick, and you would know if you liked somebody or not depending on what they got. And he got a bite.
Joe,
sniff,
lick. I was just going to say.
sniff, lick. On the first date.
You test it out first, right? It's a sniff. If it's all good, you go in for the lick. If not, you're like, nah.
It's like, if not a good there's a sniff, bite. Bite the thigh. Get out. Punch out, Maverick.
Oh, my God.
It's like sniff. Oh, look what time it is. Oh, shit. I got to get going.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
So, okay.
All right, just so you know, this is where we're going, people.
Yeah, so this is where we're going. So I think this is probably a good time where we...
Right now there's somebody that watches Catch A Contractor all the time in the Midwest going, I think I might have heard enough of this stuff already.
Yeah. If you're offended,
if
you're offended already, it's time not to come back.
If you're offended now, just like log off because it gets a lot worse.
I'm waiting around for Skip's tips, and I'm hearing sniff, lick. Son of a bitch.
So I think I don't know. What do you think? Is now a good time for us to transition to the part of our podcast where people can listen to what we already recorded and we talk about who I am, who you are. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the pod, number 1. And then make sure when you're done with it that you tune in a few days later when we release pod number 2, and then a few days after that. Tuesdays and Fridays, baby. Make sure you check in. And thanks again for listening.
I was up on a ladder working on someone's house. That's what I do every day. I'm a home remodeling contractor, have been for many years. I grew up in a family of builders and carpenters. That's my passion. That's what I do. And it was a perfect mix for this show. They didn't want any actors or any person that was going to come in and just play the part of a contractor. They wanted that person.
Right.
And you, Allison, our probation officer in the real world when we're not filming the show.
Right, and I do, and part of my job is also doing investigations, which is how I got into becoming a licensed private investigator, because of my experience as an investigator on the job. Right.
And I can tell you are good at figuring shit out and finding things, because I cannot get away with anything. Yeah. I can't do anything, Joe. Forget about it. If I try to get away with anything, she pins me right out.
That's my passion, man. It's like my high. When I find out stuff, when I'm digging and I get pieces of dirt, I fucking love that.
That's it. She'll either bring home the lie detector or the breathalyzer. I'm screwed.
You are a brave man, Skip.
Yeah.
You are a very brave man.
Yeah.
That is a benefit of carrying a breathalyzer on the job as well.
Oh, my goodness. All right, yeah, so there's...
Skip loved that in the beginning of our relationship.
I'm like, really? we go out to hear, we go out to hear Joe's band, 2U, one of the most, infamous bands in the world, and have a couple of cocktails, and as we're on the way out the place, I get a straw stuck in my mouth. Blow into this. I'm like, fucking kidding me? What?
He used to, too. You were always good about it.
I played along with it the first couple of times we were out on a date, and then I'm like, all right, this shit has got to stop.
Well, because you were driving,
Well, yeah, I wouldn't drive drunk. I mean, you would drive home, obviously. But
it was also like a litmus test in the beginning of our relationship, because I wanted to be able to see, how drunk are you? Are you... I wanted to be able to see, when he behaves like this, is he just a little drunk? Is he a lot of drunk?
All right, so drinking socially, having a couple of drinks while we're out seeing a band or whatever it is we're doing, but obviously,
You're my science experiment.
If you're having any drinks, you don't want to get in a car and drive. So I'm always the first one to give you the keys. But even while I'm handing you the keys, tell the truth, even while I'm handing you the keys, I'm just curious.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I want to know how drunk you are.
I'm doing the right thing over here. I'm handing her the keys. Here you go, sweetie, drive home tonight. I just want to see, because I'm really curious. You hold your alcohol pretty well. You have maybe 4 drinks tonight, 5 drinks. I'm like, I'm not drinking beers. I'm drinking mixed drinks, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Blow into this. I'm like, all right. So that ended real quick, Joe. After the first couple of dates, I'm like, this shit is over. Well, probation officer or not, whatever the fuck it is that you do when we're not together, I'm not blowing into any breathalyzer. Let's just lay down the ground rules right there.
Because I'm a non-drinker, too. I just find it really fascinating.
Yeah, so there's the other flip side of that, Joe. We go out together, and I'll have a couple of cocktails, and Allison doesn't. So, in a way, it's good, because I have a built-in driver, designated driver, so to speak.
And there are some people, too, that can handle their alcohol a whole lot better than others.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't know. I mean, I personally, like me and my brother, we can drink
Your brother being
Anthony Cumia from the Anthony Cumia Show,
right.
Formerly Opie and Anthony.
Let's not forget that. Right.
It's an amazing thing, though. We are so well versed with drinking, and I'm talking about drinking,
right?
I mean, some serious drinking, that we actually enunciate better when we're drunk, because we know we have to make up for the possibility of slurring while drunk. And it's always been a pet peeve of ours, like watching someone that's sloppy drunk. Sloppy drunks we don't like. So when we get shit-faced, Anthony or myself,
right.
we all of a sudden turn into a talk show host.
Wow.
You guys, that too.
I was going to say, do you like articulate words better? Do you all of a sudden have like a British accent?
You enunciate. Absolutely, we enunciate.
That's fucking funny, man.
Absolutely, we don't stumble.
Wow.
We don't fall. We actually look straighter than when we're straight. So the breathalyzer is not a bad idea.
No, it's a fucking bad idea, Joe. All right, let's just lay that out right now. Let's establish a baseline. It's fucked up. There's no one that should ever get breathalyzed when they get in the car with their wife. All right, so yeah,
people love that shit at parties.
Yeah,
Everybody always wants to blow
That's
into
great.
it.
No, listen, I'm handing you the fucking keys. Here you go. Why are you breathalyzed? Because it's just amazing to me. I watched how much you drank tonight, and you seem so straight. How do you do that? She has a half a glass of wine, and she's like, that's it. Done. Blitzkrieg. So for me, it's like, listen, I don't by any means I shouldn't say by any means. There has been a couple times that I've overindulged, and we'll not talk about that right now. But all right, but the fact is that she's not a drinker, so for her to go out with me and see even me have more than one drink and still be standing straight is just something that's amazing to her. So anyway,
you can really, but the quantity, you can really.
Listen, I'm a large man.
I know. That's why it fascinates me. Just indulge me.
All right. Well, I did, and then I didn't. We're done. Yeah. So that thank God that's over with. So private investigator, probation officer, sexy as hell. She's a badass at the same time, right? You'd never know it by looking at her.
Yep.
But always fully loaded with hardware, full carrying Glock 9, retractable baton, mace spray. She's got like 20 different ways to completely fuck you up.
I have my own tool belt.
You do. I wear my tool belt every day.
I got mine.
Yeah, so we have very different lives. No question, right? We go off in our separate directions early in the morning. We get up at the crack of dawn and we go and do our thing. And I'm out building houses and hammering nails, and you're out nailing bad guys.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, not exactly. That didn't sound right.
Oh, no.
Right,
With that description of Allison that you just gave, there are probably 8,000 masochists right now that are just absolutely wishing they could meet her. I mean, the retractable baton alone.
Right, yeah, there's lots of things we could do with that.
Yeah, I love my toys.
It sounds a lot better than it is. You don't want to get hit with that thing, man. It folds up to the size of a small flashlight, but man, when it comes out and it cracks you across the kneecap, it's over. Yeah, 300-pound man goes to the ground.
From experience, Skip.
No. Thankfully, no. But one thing I got to say, she goes to all these certifications. Being a law enforcement officer, they make them constantly recertify every year, make sure their training is up to date for all the different weapons and things they carry. So she comes home and tells me about her certification, day at the range where they have to qualify with the pistol all the time. Which, by the way, she is classified as an expert marksman.
It's actually a distinguished pistol expert.
Okay, I stand corrected then. When police officers have their badge above that, there's bars that say different things. So she has not only pistol expert and marksman, but distinguished pistol
expert. Yeah,
that would be a DPE.
Yes.
Yeah. In other words, I'm really good.
She is. We've been to the range together, and she can do wonders with that Glock.
Women tend to shoot extremely well.
I shoot extremely.
It is a sweeping statement because they're all they're individual, but I'm saying that in general they're just way more relaxed when it comes to shoot. Like a guy gets a gun in his hand, and he's like, you ever see any of the essays?
Right?
And the gang guys, they're like, with the gun sideways, and they're shaking, and
I'll kill you, motherfucker!
Spray, you're just spraying. But women are very, very definite and purposeful in aiming and knowing exactly where that comes
for me, I'm just very, very competitive. And when it comes to a bunch of us going out to the range, I don't want to just be the best girl there. I want to be the best, period, you know?
So, and anything that she does, she's very competitive. And much like myself, I like to win I like to do the best that I can, certainly. So she goes to the range and qualifies with all the, the sheriffs and the police and all the different police agencies. So there's mostly men there, and they got to run through the course and tumble and roll, and there's turning, silhouettes that spin around, and there's all sorts of tricks and
running and
things
shooting.
That you have to do and shoot while you're running, reload. There's all different things. She comes home and tells me that's really exciting, So, and she usually scores, if not the highest of everyone there, within the top 1 percentile. So it's pretty scary when you think what's underlying the blonde hair and curvy figure. There's lots of different ways that she can kill you.
Right. I kill you.
You see her on the street, and you would think she'd be vulnerable. She's not. Yeah. She's not a large gal by any stretch. But you would see her on the street and think that she'd be an easy mark.
Yeah. That reminds me of that story when we were first together. And I was driving. We were driving around near where I work, and I had to go pick up something in my office.
This is funny.
And so we're driving and we're talking, and then all of a sudden it was like the closer that I was getting to the building, he said
her voice changed. So she has this official voice when she's working.
I do.
And I call her on the phone at her office, and she answers the phone, Officer Bedell. And I'm like, who is this?
Right. Probation, Bedell.
Yeah, probation. Yeah. So I didn't have a lot of experience with this. When we first met, and I went out and picked her up one day out of the court building, and we went out for lunch. And so we have our lunch, and as we're getting back to the building, we're talking, and we're just talking like this, back and forth. Yeah. So we had a really nice day. Yeah, and she went from like this, like
girl,
pretty sexy, attractive voice, kind of.
I turned into Officer Bedell.
Yeah, kind of like that phone sex voice thing going on to, all right, asshole, hands up against the wall.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I actually did, my head spun around, and I looked at her, and I was like, what just happened?
He did. It's like, what just happened to your voice?
It was the craziest thing. We turned the corner into the parking lot of the building where she works, and it was like, as the car turned, it was like, yeah, baby, I really love you, man. And I'm like, what the? So yeah, she can flip the switch. She goes into work mode, and it's like she amazes me how she does it. But then she comes home and she's like just this awesome, caring, vibrant, this great chick.
Well, work is like her form of alcohol for you. Her voice changes. Your voice, all of a sudden you have a British accent.
Yeah,
and she goes official on it.
Yeah.
Work is her drug.
Yeah, it is. I love my job. That's why people always ask us, are we going to move and try to do the whole Hollywood thing? And
filming this show, obviously, we're spending like 8 months out of the calendar year in California now, and we live in New York, so it's a lot of back and forth. And people ask us all the time, are you guys going to relocate and move out here? And the answer is always no, because I love doing what I'm doing here. I have my business established with remodeling, and Allison is in the law enforcement, and I
love my job.
We both love what we do, so gig. It's been a really cool ride. This show has given us an opportunity to kind of step outside our regular lives, but to use what we do every day to directly come together. And normally we wouldn't have the opportunity. Our careers are so different. We go off to work in the morning, come home at night, and we exchange stories what happened. But we're worlds apart, And this show,
you can bring your occupations.
And we're like helping people. It's like it's the coolest thing, because like the end result is so positive, and that we get to do that together. It's like, how else could you ever do something like that with your partner or loved one and just accomplish something like that?
Just to be able to have the opportunity to be on TV and do something great and be helping people, it's phenomenal, and we're grateful every day that we're doing what we're doing. Yeah. But to get back to how we started in this whole riff, we watch our share of reality shows, especially a lot of these home and garden shows and DIY and things like that. I always love those shows.
That stuff.
We like to watch them together.
Don't worry about Kilo. He's not going anywhere. Good God.
He really isn't going anywhere.
I know. It's like I'm talking to you. Look at me.
He's looking for the coat. He's trying to find his bed. He's all messed up, man.
Don't worry about it.
The general perception that people have about contractors and the industry that I'm in, that I built my business on, that my grandfather and father built, from people that grew with pride in their work, the general perception from the public is that we're crooks, we're criminals, we're ripping people off. So I think that when you go in and you talk to someone about doing work, right away they're on the defense. They're looking at you kind of sideways, like, all right, well, what is it really,
It's kind of like the mechanic industry, because if you don't know anything about cars, and every time I bring my freaking car to Firestone, they always tell me that I have a puncture in the sidewall of my tire, and I went in there for an oil change.
But you always leave with a new tire.
Yeah, and it's like, and then if you ask them to see it, they can just as easily put that thing in the side of your tire to make a hole in it. Either way, you're
allegedly. Let's not accuse.
It always happened to me, but I'm saying
putting nails in your sidewall of the tire. But the bottom line
people
is
feel like they're vulnerable to people who want to take money from them.
Yeah, especially in this industry, which again is why I feel really glad that we have an opportunity to do this, because I want to make changes out there. I want to be able to help people that are in this situation, but I also want to help the guys that do this work. I want to help the guys that do what I do, because it's a hard time out there being in this business. It's hard enough as it is being in this business, but now competing against guys that are undercutting your price by so much and ultimately not doing the work properly and taking the business away from us. So this show has given us a great opportunity to help people.
I was going to say, I really, really think it's important, too, the fact that we're educating people, because before I met you, I was just any other homeowner as well, and you don't know what to look out for and how to avoid all those problems. And I hired a guy who was not licensed, who seemingly did a good job until I had a friend come over and take a look at my banister and be like, where's the base? He'd put it right into the wood floor, like, he just like took the wood end at the end of the stair. You know what I mean? It's like, I didn't know that it was supposed to be done another way. It's like people don't know what's being done wrong if they don't know how it's supposed to be done right.
Well, we try to educate people on how to do things properly and hopefully avoid getting involved with a bad contractor to begin with. So that's really what we set out to do. And, of course, a big element on this show is our co-host, Adam Carolla. Together as a three-part team, we're very effective getting the job done right. There it is, a quick summary of what we're doing with this show.
Synopsis, as it were.
It's a synopsis. Well, that sounds like a third drink. It's a synopsis. Is that drink number 3 or 4? No, I didn't do that. I was just riffing off of what you were saying with you and Anthony. When your voice changed, you articulate words real well.
Host.
Right, yeah.
Turn into a game show host.
Do you actually do that whole projection?
Yeah.
Like,
actually, what you don't know about Skip is that Skip actually has that game show host voice as well, because he grew up as a DJ.
Yeah, I did. That was something that I always loved doing. And
For
the younger years of my life, I was on the wedding circuit and and doing the weddings. And
he is the bar mitzvah boy.
Did you ever do the bride cuts the groom?
Oh,
the bride cuts the groom, man.
The bride cuts the groom. I cut you.
Nah, you were.
That's the gang wedding.
Yeah, that's the essay wedding.
No, he did all of the Jewish weddings. He was a big.
Well, listen.
That's the bride sues the groom.
We live. That's 4 years later when the bride sues the groom.
The bride sues the groom.
So we live on Long Island. And, there's a big bar mitzvah community, so to speak. So if any of you out there, you listeners out there, have ever had a bar mitzvah, you will know that it seems there's a whole other industry of musicians and DJs that provide the entertainment for these affairs, which can get pretty pricey. Some of them go into these exorbitant affairs, and I got into doing that for many years in my younger years when I was in school. And
my Super Sweet 16.
Yeah, there you go.
So right?
Yes, so I not only did that on my own, but I also worked for a lot of the major companies here on Long Island, and so pretty much like every weekend I was out there doing these big parties. So yeah, coming up with that announcer voice, because I was not so much the guy behind the turntables. I was in a lot of cases, but I was really the front guy out on the floor with the wireless mic, the MC of the affair, so to speak. So
he's got that really, and at this time.
So did you have
coming out to the dance floor is
you're the guy that handed out all the.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get everybody up out of your seats and put your hands together for the bride and groom.
He's got it now.
Right, first appearance as husband and wife. Let's hear it for them.
He's really good at that.
That's me. I've probably done 1,000 weddings.
Conga line through the kitchen.
Oh yeah, the conga line, the limbo.
He knows every Jewish prayer to be said in a bar mitzvah.
Well, listen, we got to do the blessing over the challah and the candle lighting and the get up great Grandpa Aby to say the
He
most.
was the only I
He is more Jew than most Jews.
Well, listen, but yes.
But yet he's not a
That's
Jew.
true. By osmosis, I have probably been at more bar mitzvahs than any Jewish person on the planet. That this is true. Yeah. So, but to touch on that musical, the entertainment background, that whole that voice. I love being on the microphone, and that's always been a fun thing that I was able to do. So, getting back to your announcer voice, Joe.
And also related to that, something else that people might like to know about you is your love of music and singing.
I like to sing. I do.
And that you're so good.
So I have a lot of my musical equipment and karaoke equipment and DJ stuff, and I keep it kind of set up where we live, and we love to sing. So there's many nights that we will get together, and it's the karaoke night at the Bedells residence.
Yeah, so we've got the all the what is it called, with the words on the screen and the music and all that.
Karaoke stuff. So it's fun. Yeah, we enjoy.
We put the words on our big TV, and we've got wireless mics.
They do that on a regular basis over at Anthony's house.
Yeah,
he's got a full karaoke set.
It's awesome, right? It's so much fun to do that.
It's a lot of fun. A lot of guys that are in. It's a funny thing because a lot of guys that are in certain business, like I've been a musician my whole life. Right. I play guitar since I'm 5 years old. I've been doing it a long time, and I've played professionally for the past 20 years. Nothing but playing guitar.
Right.
And it's a funny thing that musicians usually aspire to act.
Right.
Or to be on, and by contrast, the actors always aspire to be a musician.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just a funny thing that almost without fail. But performing is performing.
Right.
So, and I could tell. Right off the bat, you are so comfortable on a microphone that it was only a natural progression.
I think that has a lot to do with why he is how he is on the show, even.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Because it's not like the camera was a problem for him ever.
I've seen a couple of episodes. You can tell.
It's funny. It's like kind of like things in your life that warm you up. It's like the warm up for what's going to happen later on in your life, like on the main stage, And sometimes I think it just works out like that with people. And so all the years that I spent emceeing in front of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of crowds, over many, many years, it kind of prepared me for, I enjoy being in front of people, and I enjoy, just even being in front of the camera, and which is great for what we're doing because, again, this is the realest reality show on television. There are no scripts, there's no dress rehearsals, there's no dry runs. When the front door opens and the guy comes through the door, it's, all bets are off. Whatever happens, happens. And there's been many times that it doesn't go well, so just being able to be comfortable in that environment is helpful because I'm not thinking about the cameras. I'm not thinking about any of that stuff. I don't even know the cameras are there. And so I think it is kind of... I
was going to say, that's the litmus test. Have you ever had the director tell you, don't look at the camera?
No.
Because that's the first thing that people people that don't belong on TV, that's the first thing they do, is look right into the camera with one of these looks.
Right.
I'm smiling blindly.
Yeah. I think if it's like anything else, man. You just you figure out what works for you, and people say, well, how. It's just like working on a house. How do you know how to fix all that stuff? How do you know how to do it? Because how do you know how to play a guitar so well? Because you've been doing it since you're 6 years old. That's like what you do. So I had a lot of microphone time in front of many, many people.
So it was like a perfect storm of experience for you that brought you to...
I did a bunch of commercials.
You weren't discovered at the soda shop?
Do you remember the Nicolak paving stone commercial?
Yeah, of course.
It was on Channel 12 for like 2 years.
I do remember, yes.
Yeah, that was...
So I got approached to do a couple of different commercials over there, and I've always had my hand at like trying to do something on the side, whether it be like modeling or whatever it might be, fitness photos and whatever, right? So
most people in construction do. They have the idea that they want to do something just not necessarily change their occupation, but you got to admit, man, after a while, getting up at 5 a.m. and driving all that way. I used to have to get up and drive into Brooklyn.
Yeah, it's rough.
Every single day.
It's rough, man.
And on a job that went on for like a year and a half sometimes, big commercial jobs.
Yeah.
And, it's a great thing to be able to do, and a lot of people would prefer doing that to acting, but, come on, You look at you and Allison, it's like, okay, probation, you love being a probation officer, you love doing what you do, you love being in construction work, you love doing what you do. But really, look at yourselves. Stand in front of the mirror and look at yourselves and go, you're not the typical contractor.
What are you trying to say, Joe?
Yeah, because you're a couple of good-looking people. Honestly, that's what it comes. I mean, really, that's what it comes down to. You guys were very conducive to TV.
That's just kind of like a coincidence, because this is really all just something that happened to us. It wasn't something we were looking for.
It is. And like I said, it's kind of like things happen in your life that sometimes it works out that it's preparation for what's going to happen later on. And some people go through their whole life having the same job and walking into the same cubicle, and maybe they hate their lives. I don't know. I've tried my hand at a lot of different things. I went to school for business and finance management, and I've done everything from selling stocks right out of school. I got my broker's license right out of college, and that was my first job, to selling life insurance, to finally figuring out that I really love what I grew up doing with my dad, and that's building stuff, and back into that, and all the while DJing on the weekends. I've done so many different things, and I think it's all been preparation to for what comes along later in life. And it's funny, like when I got that call that day, they saw me on a demo video that we spliced together from a bunch of little commercials and little things that I've done over the last prior years, put together on like a 5-minute demo and put it out there on YouTube just so people could see it. And the only reason why it was on YouTube is because of Allison. When she first met me, I had this disc that I asked one of the people. remember the days like a demo tape, a cassette tape?
Yeah.
All right, so I was a little bit modernized. I had a CD. Right? So she's going through my stuff on my desk one day. She finds this disc. She's like, "What is this?" And I'm like, and she had already seen a couple of commercials that I'd done on TV. And I'm like, "Oh, that's I had somebody edit together a few commercials and put together like a demo," because a year or so prior to meeting Allison, there was this audition on the DIY network for a new show that was coming out. They were looking for a host to a TV reality show called Stud Finders. And if you're someone who's in construction or has any construction knowledge, put together a little homemade videotape and send it in for our consideration. So I did. Edited together all my little commercials, put it on a disc, and when I didn't get the part, I threw it in the drawer. So Allison comes on, she watches it, she goes, "This is really good." She's like, "These are all your commercials and all the stuff you've done." She's like, "Why aren't people seeing this?" I'm like, "What do you mean seeing?" I said, "I send it out to people, on auditions." She's like, "No, dummy." She's like, put it on the internet. Yeah. And I'm like, "I don't know how to do that, So she's like, "Give me that thing." So she puts it on YouTube.
And I tag worded it up, like when you upload something, it's all those, So I tagged it with contractor and licensed.
See, I didn't know what a tag was. I mean, to me, it's like the thing that's on the the piece of paper that says the price when you buy a shirt.
Behind every great man, there is a right.
It is true. It is true. When I say we would probably not be on this show if you believe in the whole destiny. Maybe we still would have been found some other way, but
coincidentally has a wife that's an investigator.
Well, that's the other. That's the other side of the story.
That's another part of the story.
Yeah. So tell them about that.
Okay. Well, I was going to say also that he's a good contractor. He really knows what the fuck he's talking about.
Adam Carolla, super well-known celebrity, comedian. He's hosted many television shows of his own, The Adam Carolla Project, The Man Show with Jimmy Kimmel, countless projects.
My favorite shows ever.
4 New York Times best-selling books. The guy is just a phenomenal talent. And of course, the most successful podcast on the planet actually possesses a Guinness Book World Record for the most downloaded podcast anywhere. So, we can only aspire to be, even close to anything that he's doing. When he came...
I do, by the way, coincidentally, I do, too, for the least downloaded podcast.
Oh, yeah.
I hold the Guinness Book of World Records for the Joseph Cumia show.
Right.
Never mind. Go on.
For those of you who haven't seen the Joseph Cumia show, tune into the Joseph Cumia show. It is awesome.
It is also available online.
Yes, it is
awesome. Go on. I'm sorry.
We're very fortunate to be in your studio and recording. Let's not let that go. A light unshined on that. We're in the studio where Joseph Cumia makes his own podcast, and it's a beautiful thing. What a lot of people don't know about Adam Carolla, despite being one of the most talented people in entertainment, is that he has a very extended background in carpentry and construction. So before he ever got into entertainment, he was a carpenter that worked his way up from laborer right through journeyman to carpenter. He's run all sorts of, home remodeling jobs, and he has the entertainment background and, the front man experience.
All of a sudden you have a known celebrity that has a background in carpentry involved with a show that's just launched.
And they make a great team. And what was really cool about it, because Adam, if you know him, he's always when somebody proclaims to be an expert in something, he likes to test them. He likes to test people and their knowledge to see if they're really who they say that they are. So when they first met, man, he was testing Skip all over the place.
He was asking me like every question that could possibly be asked about construction. Like we're doing something. It's like, hey man, so what's the diameter of this hole bore for the door? What's the setback on the doorknob? And what's the size of the hinges? And how deep should they be mortised? Just like in the general course of conversation. And I could tell him like, this fucking guy's testing me on everything we're doing. Like,
and in your head, you must be saying, how the fuck does this comedian know everything he knows about construction?
It's true.
At one point, you must have been.
Well, in the very beginning, listen, we've spoken to Adam many times. Going into this thing, and we all decided this show needs to be made. It's such a good show. It's so needed by so many people. It's groundbreaking. It's never been done before, and we have an opportunity in front of us to do something awesome, right? Mm-hmm. But in that, I'm thinking, well, all right, so I know Adam Carolla just like most people know of him as the host of the Man Show.
Yeah.
So at first we were like, we didn't get it.
I'm like, how is this going to work? All right, I get it. It's gonna be like the funny edge to it, but much to my surprise, as I got to know Adam on and off the camera, he's just an awesome dude. It's like he's the real deal. He's a genuine person. He's no nonsense. You either love him or you hate him. He tells it like it is on his show and when we're off the camera and on his podcast. It's like he had no problem giving his opinion about anything or hurting anybody's feelings. It's like, hey, this is what it is. Yeah. And, fuck it if you don't like it. But in addition to that, the guy knows his stuff when it comes to carpentry. So we clicked. We hit it off because I think he has worked with a lot of people on past projects, like the Adam Carolla project. He had a show that he had done. He had a lot of people that come in there and do carpentry work with him. And the nature of Adam, as Allison just said, he tests people a lot. That's just what he does. Mm-hmm. Whether it's for carpentry or anything else, he likes to get into people and find out if they really are what they are. And I think him and I kind of bouncing off each other in the beginning, feeling each other out. We got this cool bond that just kind of naturally happened, and all of a sudden we kind of just clicked, and I just found us getting really close, and we spent a lot of time with them.
A lot. I mean, they literally are spending like 10 hours a day together. Because they're in every scene. If you watch, they're together every single scene, which means that they're literally together all day. Everything that's getting done, and there's a lot of downtime. They're talking. There's a lot of filming stuff that you don't see. It's just they're always together.
Well, a lot of people that aren't in the business have no clue about. I mean, that much time. Spending that much time together is something that's done all the time.
They're very long days, and we definitely have an agenda all day long. We're on a schedule, and, in addition to, just putting together what you see on the show, there's a massive construction schedule that goes on that is kind of hard to feel the gravity of that when you're watching it as a viewer, and I've noticed that watching the show, is that, we condense down into what is now an hour-long show, maybe 2 or 3 weeks or a month's worth of construction happens in that very short period of time. So there's a lot that goes on that, obviously it's just not time enough to show everything that happens on the camera. But again, we're grateful to be a part of this production, and I think we're making a difference out there. And the people that write to us on social media, on Twitter and Facebook, I mean, it's overwhelming, feedback. It's all good.
And if I can just also take a turn now on the subject to acknowledge those people, because we have had really amazing fans. The people that watch the show, the people that comment on social media to us have been it's been all positive. It's been amazing. People are we so appreciate the fans, because they're the ones who really make it possible, because without all the fans equal the ratings, so that gives us another opportunity for another season so we can go help more people. So we just wanted to really say thank you to everybody for watching, and thank you for listening, and thank you for the feedback and for communicating with us. And we try to answer back every single person that writes to us.
We do. We spend a lot of time on Twitter, man. We try to answer every question, and we get it all the time. People write back to us like, wow, you're the only celebrity that actually answers my questions, And
then Adam pipes in, they're celebrities?
Like, thanks a lot, Ace Man. Hey, thanks, Adam. He always reminds us and gently puts us back in our place. It's like you guys aren't celebrities, right? Let's face it, you're the schlubs that came along. I'm the fucking celebrity over here, all right? To put you back in your place, remember who the big dog really is, okay? It's funny because while we're filming the show, he'll do that all the time with our security team and stuff. He's like, all right, so listen, there's always the worry that something's going to go down. We're going to have a fist fight with one of these guys, or someone's going to pull out a weapon. There's no metal detectors when they come through the door. He's like, all right, listen, if anything goes wrong, just remember, Skip, he's like, he's replaceable. You can just,
he can take care of himself.
Don't worry about him. He's like, look over here. And like, he points to his face. You see this? This is the cash register, all right? Then he'd be talking to like the 300-pound, 6'6", black guy outside security. He'd be like, all right, now what's this? And the guy would be like, it's the cash register. Like, that's right, and don't forget it. That's awesome. So we'll watch this stuff, and I'm like, good, Ace. That's great, man. Thanks a lot, pal.
Yeah.
Really? Okay. I'll be over there getting pounded out or something. Thanks, man.
Well, you have a background in MMA, right?
I do. All right, so I should rephrase that. The likelihood of me getting pounded out is probably pretty slim.
I know. I was just wondering, what were you?
I'm kidding. But we do have security in place. But yeah, it's we really don't know what's going to happen on this, because when we get into the room, really anything could erupt. We don't want to come across as bullies, like we're beating up on people. Our focus is to help people, and also when we were a 30-minute show for season 1 and 2, the 30 minutes went by like that, and it was almost like there was no time to show any of that. Now for season 2, we were an hour long. We have a little bit more time. You see more of that confrontation, right? So once we get into filming season 3, as we're doing our shows, we will kind of give you a commentary.
This is exclusive content, by the way, folks.
Yeah.
This will be exclusive content coming from the source.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Coming from the horse's mouth and the horse's wife.
Not the horse's ass.
Wait.
I'm thinking you're going to say that I'm. All right. I'll say no. Okay, you're the horse's ass. I just want to be.
The horse's wife.
I want to be clear on that. I want to be clear on what part of the actual horse anatomy we can say you are and I am.
I'm getting ready. Gun!
Right. Okay. So if you could be the horse's ass, I would more like to be referred to as the other member in the front of the horse that hangs down far down to the ground. All right. So listen. So we'll be able to give you some commentary. Yes, definitely exclusive.
We're going to be horse cock and all kinds of shit into this.
Horse cock and ass.
Oh, shut up.
That's a scary thing. Have you ever seen a horse? I mean,
come on! No! We're not going there. We're just going to.
I was using it as a comparison to putting as much content that you couldn't actually show on the episode itself into this podcast.
Yeah,
it's called when you this is I don't know if it's a musical thing, but when you stuff way too much content into a small space, it's called horse cocking something in there. You just horse cock it in there.
Oh, that's the first time I've heard that.
I never heard of that before.
You actually learned me something.
I can't say I'm going to use that again.
I thought it was 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag.
Same thing.
All right.
Same thing.
Well, actually, we're going to have to also watch all the episodes again as well, because...
That's really
stop with
funny.
The
You just made me laugh. I'm thinking, my mind is
I
going
know.
into many different places. The Magnum-sized condom.
Shut up! Oh, my God.
So, Wilbur.
Anyway.
Wow.
Talking about my anatomy, are you? From now on this podcast, my nickname is Mr. Ed.
Mr. Ed.
I want you to call me Mr.
I like that. All right. Okay. Got it. So.
Yeah, and also just make sure to send us something on Twitter or Facebook if you have any questions or comments or anything. We always read them, and we're going to be getting back to you then in a few days on another cast.
To cap things off, I'd like to say that this is probably one of the most comfortable podcasts I've ever been involved with, and I've been involved with a few of them. You guys are extremely easy to work with, easygoing, laid back, and comfortable in doing what you do. And I look forward to a whole bunch more of these. This is the first time, by the way, that we're sitting in a room recording.
This is the very first time we've ever hit record,
and just went with it.
And that's it. We're just kind of riffing off
awesome
it, but giving you that brief outline of what you can expect on every podcast, and we're looking forward to bringing you some great stuff. So,
Catch A Contractor on Spike TV, folks. We'll see it. We'll see you guys next time.
Yep. See you next time.
All right.
This is Corolla Digital.